I think we got people here. Hey, Jim Hook's here. Okay, we can get on with things. Alright, everybody. Mr. Daniels is rather tired again today at another trip. And also went to the doctors myself, but nothing dramatic there. Didn't get the paperwork done today that I'd hoped, which I'm not sure why, but anyway, hopefully next week the house paperwork will come through, and I am looking for a pair of pliers right now. I need a pair of pliers so I can grip a the flux tip, twist it off and put it on a new tube of flux. Now, where have I put my grippers? Aha, I found my grippers. Yeah, so old tubes pretty much run out. There's probably something in there, but it's a bit it's not really enough. I'm going to slam into the end of it at that rate. Kind of curious. Maybe I should turn the projection, flip it 180 so you don't feel quite so disorientated. There you go. You feel better with that? Lenovo board we do not speak of. I have to get some parts for that one. I've never used the Atom, so I can't actually make any opinion of that. Fresh flux. The only trouble with fresh flux means that you've got a very long extension there, which is actually quite difficult to depress. Hey Wilco, Yankov, James, Polypeel. Alright, so I have this stash of boards here. I just want to check something. 165. Okay. Just kind of curious. A few of them actually have different colouring on the circuit board. Like this is more of a beige, bakelite type look, whereas these are more the paler green-blue fiberglass. But they are actually all the same. It's just they do seem to have slightly different manufacturing sources on them. Rodrigo. Ah, yeah, PC boards can go suck an egg. It wouldn't be so bad if they had board views and schematics, but nope. And they use the wrong schematic symbols for certain things, which makes you become, well, I wouldn't say disorientated, but makes you think the wrong sort of things, and you go chasing down rabbit holes that don't exist. Let's see, I think this is a 3476. Come on camera. Come on out and play. Yeah, camera's playing today. Yep, 3476. Cool. So yeah, I picked up these boards at a place for a reasonable rate. Now they are all faulty, damaged, but to what degree I don't know. Are they repairable? I don't know. But I grabbed them because the price was right, and I thought I'd give them a whirl. Worst case scenario, they are reasonably priced donor boards, if nothing else. And so I've got no idea as to what fault they might have or anything. Rodrigo, it's a bit of, it's probably got SMC fault. It took me a while to find one place, so I'm not going to give it up. It takes a while to build the relationship. Looks like this one's been like probed around. You can see the scratch marks, the probing. And given that I can see a lot of water wash around there, I suspect this has actually been ultrasonicked or something. Kind of looks like there's been some rework. Hard to tell. Oh yeah, Travis. Pedro will just come along and steal everything. He has no scruples, that man. He approaches you with a smile and he leaves you dead as he walks past. Yeah, let's hook power up to this and see what happens. So I need the long mag safe for this one. Solder Bridge, you're just aiming for a kick off the channel, aren't you, with that sort of attitude? It's like, that is your aspiration in life, I've noticed. Got a green light, 35 milliamp. Ew, that is not a good board. 34, 35 milliamp, that's bad, that's bad. And generally doesn't bode well to a successful repair. Right, we'll put that aside. Yeah. Alright, what have we got a few choices here. We've got 34, 37, 165, 165, 34, 37, 34, 37. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick any one. Well, let's go for this 34, 37, shall we? Pedro, we were just insulting you. Actually, no, you know, to be fair, we were not insulting you. We were actually complimenting you. But I guess it was kind of insulting. We're just simply saying that you are not the sort of person that one shares a source of MacBooks or boards with, because you will just simply go along and strip all of those MacBooks and boards from everybody else. You have no scruples. You are the Johnny Depp out of the Ninth Gate. So is this one? Oh, this is bottom end board. This one. Are you corrosion around the CPU? Right. Yeah. Boards, when they get to this sort of level, this sort of very deep and quite bad, well-established corrosion, I gotta admit I am very disinclined to repair these, because more often than not they just come straight on back a few weeks later with a whole new bunch of trouble. So these sort of ones, I just basically resign them to being donor boards. Even if they can be repaired, it's not worth it. They will come back and bite you in the butt. The Lenovo is waiting for parts. I'm waiting for a replacement regulator. From what I can estimate, that regulator is akin to sort of like the 3V42 on MacBook boards, and so without it producing the proper voltage, then there's not much point in me doing anything. Just want to try and see if I can mark this to say, don't try and repair it, you idiot. The miniature picture is upside down. What? What miniature picture? Bad. 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 Michael Jackson, bad. Video thumbnail. Seriously? That's funny because when I uploaded it, I do know that it was taken upside down. But when I uploaded it, YouTube live streaming system knew that it had been taken inverted, and it turned it up the right way. And now I find out that it is actually inverted, so YouTube tricked me. Alright, what have we got here? We've got a 165. Let's see how I orientate it correctly. There are some levels of corrosion you just walk away from. There's no point. Alright, so we've got a bit of corrosion there. Shouldn't really have killed anything. We've got some corrosion around the backlight and what is that? I forget what that's for. So 165, it's that little 6-pin package. There, Q7707. Oh, okay, yeah. Backlight platform reset L. Alright. How much do you normally pay for boards? It depends on the state of them. But put it this way, I don't pay... These ones I buy for $12 a pop. But in fairness, that is because I have a deal with the person who supplies them to me. Oh, crap. Yeah, I don't think we'll repair that one either. And it depends on the boards. Yeah, maybe this is worth trying as a challenge. Because even though this is actually quite visually bad, and the SMC will be probably cactus, it's not the sort of, it's more surface corrosion. There is a little bit of deepness going on in here, but overall it's more surface. I can flux and boil and then wash that off, and you won't really notice it was there. So we may have a look at that one. Andrew, that was a fiasco that will not be repeated. Right, this is a destroyed, sweet mother of God. Yeah, I can see why these end up in my hands. That backlight's completely gone. Amazingly, the PCHs are okay on this. But even if I can't repair these for... Wow, what the heck? Oh, I'm scary to see what's on the backside. Even if I can't repair these for actual use, they do make very good donors in most cases. Yeah, this might work. We'll try this one. Just send me an email. You've got my email address. Send me an email. I'm more than happy to have a look at what is up. There's a couple of other people I've got to buy a bunch of boards from. As soon as I've got the house loan out of the way, I'll actually start getting cash flow again. That's the only reason why I haven't been buying too many lately, is because I've had to, preserve my cash flow in order to be able to make sure that I can actually afford the loan, or at least convince the bank that I can afford the loan. Pixel Fate, not overly, it's more just a case of just keep watching, practicing, and Yeah, more than anything, getting your own equipment and practicing. That's the fastest way. Hey Max, Ken Skeets, 1502 1466s, absolutely. 1278s, not so much anymore. I am after a. I'm looking for i7 CPU 2850s at the moment. But yeah, 1502 and 1466s definitely. Well, first thing we've got to do is get this connector off. That goes without question. I'm using different tweezers here, different angle, a lot of different things here. I'm just trying out some stuff. Well, that's that lovely toffee smell, so whatever it was sugar based. Hey Dave Harvey, good to see you, thank you. Hey One Yumi. More often than not with this sort of work, what matters greatly is your technique. You don't really have to know electronics for the most part. Given that most of the boards you're going to encounter are these, what Mr. Rossman likes to call janitorial type repair boards, that is where all you're really doing is cleaning up. You're cleaning up the corrosion damage and putting down new parts. You don't have to know anything about electronics as such, but you do have to have a technique of doing it that doesn't destroy boards. There's not much point trying to do the cleanup work if all you're doing is doing more damage. iPhones are a little bit tricky in the fact that they are quite temperature sensitive, and you do have to worry a lot about the parts on the other side. MacBooks less so because of obviously the thicker board. There's not many places on a MacBook where you have to worry about what you're heating up on the other side. So yeah, if you work on your techniques for doing this sort of work, then 90% of the time that will be more than enough for you to be able to repair boards without knowing anything. There certainly are going to be boards where you have to know your electronics, but honestly that's probably no more than 10% of the boards that you encounter. 90% of the boards are like this. But you really do have to have your techniques. If you don't, you will just butcher more boards and people will hate you more than they already do. Just ask Pedro how much I hate him. Okay, the pads are there, but they're really not happy. That toffee is really well and truly set. Hey Warren Stamps, how's it going? Try to get this toffee off here. It will come up in the ultrasonic, but it'd be nice to get rid of it as much as I can. This is Stockholm's. I removed the connector on the card. Can I just solder the wires to the big pads? Well, that's up to you. I'm not going to suggest one thing or another. Depends what you're doing with it. Hey, Richard Holyoke. Holyoke, sorry. And Henmeister. Okay, let's get some copper expose here. Now this is the backlight pair if you're wondering, if you're not sure what you're looking at. And what's happened is it's been trying to drive the backlight, but there's been liquid damage here, and that liquid damage has just subsequently caused a plating build up, and I think it's time I got a new blade by the feels of it. I just have to change my angle. The blade is worn out a bit, that very fine tip, but I changed the angle on it and it'll get me through. Now this is a dud, a null pad or a non-connected as far as I can recall, so it don't matter quite as much. The rest of them look good. So scrape away that toffee. Ken Skeets, I can appreciate what you mean with regards to, the money going away from them. It's certainly not the gold mine it used to be. I mean, you used to be able to get, $250 US for a 1466 board that was fixed up. Now you're lucky if you get 120 for them, all fixed up and good as new. And of course the lifespan of the product itself is now running a little bit on the short side. Particularly with the M1 now coming out, and it's looking like it's going to be a real winner. We're probably going to see a reasonable number of people that would have otherwise stuck with the 1466s and 1502s moving over to the M1s finally. Of course, that's just my opinion. It's nice and flux is fresh, and it actually is a nice homogeneous substance rather than the weird clotty lumpy stuff that I'm gonna have to redo these and then flatten them out. Brian, I have done with the trips for this time. I will have to do it again in the new month, at the beginning of next month. Just got to do these things. Okay, so those pads are looking good now. They're looking pretty much as glossy as the others were. So what happens when the M1's mostly, you still be able to repair them? Oh yeah. I don't see any problem with the M1 being, in terms of repairability. We'll be able to get donors. I mean, there will be more serialized parts on it, that's a given. But there's still a good portion of repairs that can be done on them. Just getting a LVDS connector. Unfortunately, these are not the ones that I like. These do not have the keying pin, because even if you see the keying pin on AliExpress website where they're selling them, 90% of the time they still turn up without the keying pin. How long before they serialize the tantalum? Yeah, good luck to them if they do that. They'll definitely be their own demise. Since we don't have a keying pin, we just have to spend a little bit more time lining these up. And we do a lot more hot air assist on these ones because we have to tack down the ends and then reflow them nicely, keep them pressed to the board before we go ahead with the actual data pins. Oh, that's not a tack, that's a freaking blob. Way more than a tack. That's like going to an attack weld and you end up using your whole stick. Okay, all hot air assist does is it gives us a chance for the little micro pencil to get the join flowing, and the hot air simply satisfies the urge for the rest of the board to drain all the energy from the micro pencil tip. It's only 250, but it's really need more flux there. I'll finish them up later, but at least the board, the connector is now down, which is good. Not copying your technique, Pedro. You filthy little... Yeah, I see what you're doing. It's about time the mower ran on the field of Pedro and cut down that tall poppy. Hey Byron, how's it going? Andre? Let's traumatize people by running a big fat bead of solder across these. Oh, look at all those bridges I'm making. Oh my god, it's... seriously, if you're panicking about that, you're in the wrong department. Technically, you're supposed to do them all nice, one at a time. Realistically, I don't know anyone that truly does do that. As opposed to say what that they're doing it. Oh yes, I only do one pin at a time with the soldering iron, do it properly. It's like, no you don't, you big lying fibber. Big flat iron. Now why the heck did YouTube censor that? Let's see. Stanislav. No, it's a Hako micro pencil. Hako FX951, and I've just put way too much solder on that. That's way too much solder. Really don't need a lot for these endpoints. Hi Damaris, how's it going? We good? Yes, we're fine. I was just having a crappy night. I'm sorry, Damaris. I just losing my plot and I had to just walk away. And I thought it was a good opportunity to make everyone feel guilty about everything, and I took it. And you all should be ashamed of yourselves. Sadly, only one person actually emailed me and apologized. So, obviously I need to up my game a bit. JVC Nano. I have looked at the Nano systems. At this point, I couldn't justify it, but I can imagine, if you've got the money, then sure, why not? Trying to see what else really needs repairing and replacing as opposed to just looks bad. Let's do some continuity checks, see if things are shorted or open. Hey Barry! Okay, fuse is good. Caps aren't shorted, so that's good. Yeah, the rest of it just looks like it's just visually a bit ugly, but that's fine. Let's see, what about you? You any good? Yeah. I think if I mix up some 80-20, use that to wash away the trash. My 80-20 is running out, so we have to make some more. So we'll put on our Heisenberg outfit, which means pretty much stripping off. W. I'll put too much in there. It's going to be more like 90-10, which is not good. Ow. I just realised now that I've kind of diluted this. This is now going to be more like 95%. It's not a big issue. Most of the time these alcohols will tend to naturally absorb water just from the atmosphere as it is. So we'll just top it up and that will eliminate most of that problem. Off. Okay, so we need some distilled water for that. Actually not distilled, demineralized. And that is going to be an almighty trick and a half. Crud. Big crud. Let's see. The reason why I'm cursing is because I do have 20 litres of demineralised water unopened, but it's in a 20-litre container and I can't exactly just like lift it up. But this here is a smidge of demineralised water left and it should be just enough to get us where we want. Close enough. So lots of mixing here tonight. And as a last step, we're now going to actually fill up the drinkable alcohol. Although drinkable is subjective to how well you can tolerate Bitterix. If you're immune to Bitterix, then this is entirely drinkable. Yes, it's a bit of a chemistry show. Hopefully it doesn't go the way of likes of Electro Boom or anything with me blowing up. camera's getting drunk, it probably would be. I would certainly now have a blood alcohol reading, simply, well, above 0, because we always have a reading. Simply because of the vapors. I do believe I'm getting them vapors. I might have to heat the board up to get the flux to loosen up a bit. Well, I'm getting both ISO and ethyl alcohol. Just like I said, just heating this up so that it's easy for me to brush off. Good opportunity to get the excess flux out of the inside of these connectors. When you solder these on, they almost always flood up with flux, and you forget about that until you go to plug the screen connector in, and then it won't quite fit properly, and that's because you're just trying to squeeze flux out from inside that gap. Stainless, yeah, it is using the OpenGL engine to do the rendering. It's actually ImGUI that's doing the OpenGL handling, in the most part. Oh. ImGUI produces I think it produces a polygon list or a triangle list. It produces the list that then it gets rendered by the OpenGL renderer. Alright, I think I will replace this cap here. The end cap actually looks a bit too iffy. Oh, maybe it doesn't actually. Maybe I should scroll in, zoom in, zoom in. Yeah, maybe it's alright. What about this one? Yeah, that's probably alright too. Another one. Okay. We'll go with that. Hey, Peter Jordan, rather. Is anyone else's icons for the people misbehaving? Pardon me. Is Damara still here? What else needed to be done on this? I'm sure it wasn't just the backlight. Ew, right, that's a little bit gnarly. Damaris is not here, alright. I'll take note of that next time I see him. I wonder if it was some sort of energy drink. See, now that there needs to definitely be cleaned up. Again, we'll just try the 80-20, scrub it out. I would say most, yeah, like I was saying before, about 90% of repairs tend to be this sort of behaviour, where you go along, you find out where it's dirty, you clean it up, stick it back together, and hope that it runs. And then every now and then you do have to bring out the board view and the schematic and actually put your thinking cap on, but it's not that often. Yeah, I'd say those pins are probably floating, are they? Yeah, that's a floater. Okay, so that there is probably the primary reason why this board would have been rejected as faulty. The backlight was bad, but this here, this floating pin, I believe that's a I2C line. Schematic. That is a 342. What is it? Second pin up from the second ground cluster. Yeah, 342. Okay. Yeah, so without that working properly, that means the DCM board wouldn't work properly. Hey, Yummy Steak. Hey, Yummy Steak's learning. The beatings are finally starting to work. I feel proud. Yummy Steak probably puts more effort into replying to my videos than he does into his university thesis or whatever he might be doing for education, if he's doing anything. Honestly, he probably could have finished a dissertation by now with the amount of comment that has been made. Stannis, thank you for the 10 or the 800 rubles. When you say 10, you talking 10 Australian or 10 US? Not that there's much difference currently. I will say one thing, I'm very glad that now that I've got all of my, what am I thinking of, home loan deposit transferred across, I can now keep my US dollars offshore for a while, because I really did not enjoy bringing my US dollars into Australia at this point, because it's like 76 cents when it should be, Australia should normally sit at around about 65. It doesn't seem like a massive difference, but believe me, it's, when you're dealing with tens of thousands of dollars for the deposit, that means you're sort of missing out on $2,000 or $3,000. You're having to pay $2,000 or $3,000 extra, and that hurts. Hey Barry, oh yeah, when are they gonna put SN9 up? Because they seem to just be doing lots and lots of, well, I shouldn't say lots and lots, but they just seem to be doing static fire tests and not much else. This is, not sure if they've like got a problem that they're trying to solve. I mean, obviously you don't want to rush this stuff, but at the same time, the crowd grows weary. Oh, crikey, why didn't everyone tell me I was in not Microsoft, there we go. Crikey, damn you people. Tell me things I don't need to know, but you don't tell me things I do need to know. The board view and schematic software that you just saw, that is the Flex board view. If you're just a hobbyist and things like that, then open board view is more than ample. But if you do it on a commercial basis, then you may find the features of Flex board view to be more advantageous for saving you some time. Hey Byron, $3.99 Canadian. That's pretty much $3.99 Australian. Thank you very much. Oh, it sound like Richie Benaud then, and cricket. Australians will know who I'm talking about. And South Africans maybe. Oh, come on, someone in chat will link you to Flexible. But it is, like I said, it is commercial, but there is the open board view, which is free. But they do have different features. Let's pull this up so we can have a look at edgeways. Okay, it's looking nice. The cluster we just did is the set in the middle, and they're looking much better. They actually will function now. Except you can't see. There we go. Yeah, that middle set will now function. Manikatan, oh, no cricket? Right, that's it, we're talking about cricket then. So, who used to watch cricket with the Dennis Lilly and Rodney Marsh era? Can't imagine there'd be too many people in that group anymore. And of course Alan Border, can't forget Alan Border, good old AB. Bit of an underrated person in some ways, but I always quite liked him. A bit of an all-rounder. Wasn't too bad with the bowling if he had to. Oh, you've got a dead ant there. Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant. Anyway. Bodyline was about 50 years before that, I think. Bodyline was, wasn't that Don Bradman era? Look, to be fair, I'm not a massive cricket aficionado, and there was more when I was a kid, and mostly with the one-day 50-over internationals. But I haven't really followed it much these days. Ever since they pretty much took it away from public, what is it? Non-commercial TV, it pretty much just died for a lot of people. Let's see, throw a chipmunk in. Chipmunk plugged in. Do we want a fan? Or do we want an air conditioner? It actually took me a very long time to understand Test cricket in the sense of, as a kid, when I'd look at the screen, I'd see both teams wearing white, and I couldn't understand how you could tell who was on what team. I didn't realise at that young age that those who were batting were in the opposite team of those who were fielding. Funny the things that you don't understand as a kid. Wade, the board from last night is still in holding. We're waiting for a voltage regulator. Okay, see how we go with this. Obviously we don't have a heatsink on, but for the short time we're going to do it, should be okay. We've got a fan spin, really. But, actually no, that's a good thing, because that pretty much confirms that the fix we did on that connector is okay. We're waiting for the green blink here. And hopefully the green blink happens before the purple flash happens over here. If you get the purple flash here, it's too late. We've got our green blink, so we are alive. Gurgly, this is what we call a chipmunk. It's produced by Harold. Damn it, it's in my tools page. Basically, it's sort of like a glorified USB stick with a LED on it. But the difference is that it will show you not only just that it's getting power, but it will show you if it's getting good power, as in 5 volts versus something else, and it'll also show you the activity, if there's CPU activity going on the board. The other nice thing is it's got ground points here, so you can actually plug banana plugs in there, or put a ground hook on there, so you can use it as your ground reference for the rest of the board. So it's a handy thing. Some people may say, it's not worth the money, just use a USB memory stick with a LED flash on it, and yeah, sure, go ahead, do that. But I gotta admit, I find this more useful like this. It certainly has paid itself over plenty of times for me. And I suppose in the interest of disclosure, I will say that these have been sent to me, but people who know me will know that I don't tend to do the whole contrived, it's brilliant, buy it, because someone sent something to me. If I use it, I use it. If I don't, then I don't. I'm not really here to appease the marketing people. I tend to upset them more than anything else. Okay, right. We want a board that we can plug a screen in. Yeah, we want to plug a screen in and have a look, see if we get an output. Hey Teresa, space cookies. A TPG just go down? That's that's unfortunate. Probably should put at least some kind of heatsink on this one. Mostly so that it doesn't start to self-throttle when I want it to test it for the screen. Yeah, it's mix our thermal paste. I do not recommend that. Let me demonstrate to you what you should not do. Life's more fun when you can do that sort of thing. Don't do as I do, do as I say, or whatever you want to. Let me guess, I don't have any... Damn it. I'm out of CPU mount screws. We'll have to steal from the bad board. Well, it's been a bad board, so I guess we get to take things from it. Just as soon as I can find this driver. Hey Riston, you okay? How you going? Okay, that'll do. It's okay, Riston. You haven't missed a huge amount. We've got a couple more to go yet. Where is my keyboard flex? Why don't I have a keyboard flex there? Somebody is stealing all my keyboard flexes. Because now I'll go back to the other board, which I stole this one from. And I'll go, someone stole my keyboard flex. What doesn't help is that when I buy them, they don't come pre-folded in this zigzag shape. They're just straight flexes. And so you sort of look at them and go, I don't want to bend that, and so you steal it from somewhere else instead. Micro took it. Yeah. Okay. We don't need the chipmunk to hold the board in. We'll use the MacOS boot USB stick instead. We'll put our cross flex on. as opposed to our CrossFit. And if we're lucky, this might boot to a image. Let's hold down the option key. What? Got junk in there. What in the dillies? Something terrifying's happened here on this. Something very wrong with this DCM board. Its MagSafe jack is all, well, it's jacked up. Come on, out you come. Oh yeah, that's a bend and a half. Sure. Not sure what would have bent that, but anyway, hopefully it's not damaged. Hopefully I can just shove it back in and... Mind you, that's probably how it got damaged in the first place. Just randomly shoving it in. Magic smoke? Possibly. Or more like bent smoke. Get bent. Yeah, the alignment's better now at least. Put that microphone cable back in. It's always a little bit of a pain. You're kind of pushing the... Okay, this one wasn't so bad. Usually you kind of push the limits of the plastic on the flex. That time we got away with it. Alright, let's try that again. Looks like some sort of Hollywood... What? Detached hair? What kind of detached hair? Okay, fan spin. Yeah, Warren, sort of in better spirits. If I see that Lenovo again in a hurry, I'll be upset. Okay, we've got a proper energizing of the screen, so that's a good start. And we've got a backlight, so that's even better. Alright, let's just see what we've got installed here. I should have just looked at the sticker on the board, but we'll consider it a surprise to find out what specification this board is. Yeah, with the Lenovo, I've got to get the regulator chip. The one that basically, it's one that produces the 5 volts that is also coupled with the 5 volts always through a diode. I think it plays a similar role to the 3v3 or 3v42 on these older ones. No, Paulie, we've got more. We've got more. Let's see. Keyboard deck have a bend. I think it does. There may be a little bit of camera influence, but I'm pretty sure this does have bend as well, which is why it's a tester chassis. I am running out of water in my mouth. So let me drive the air conditioner even higher so it saps more moisture out of the air. It is running very slow, but I suspect that's because it's got no battery and no sensors. Everything will be upset. Let's see if I can plug a battery in, improve its performance. Okay, battery in. Charge rate's going nowhere, so it probably doesn't like the battery. Bernov, this is on the USB-C Lenovo that we were on last night, and one of the first rails that are generated off um, the V-power from the USB-C, the 5 volts, is this, I can't remember anyway. Anyway, it's one of the first rails that it's directly generated off the V-power line off the USB-C, and then it feeds into this, it's kind of like part of the 5 volt always circuit. One UMI, it's about, right now it's probably around about 28 centigrade. This is really painfully slow to boot. I'm just not sure whether it's a sensor issue or there's something else wrong with the board. We'll give it a chance to do its job and see what comes up. The 28 is not bad. Personally, I prefer between 19 and 20, sort of 25 at the most. After it gets beyond 25, you're progressively trying to inch the air conditioner up slightly. Come on. Wow, this is really slow. We definitely do not seem to have... It really does not like this 1466 battery. It may just be exceptionally flat. Miles, is that 43 Fahrenheit or... I'm guessing. Nick White, have a 1502. It appears to go to sleep and doesn't wake up no matter what you do. Leave it plugged in a few hours, suddenly it's okay again. Could it be battery? Sounds like it could either be a problem on your sleep sensor or a bit of spotty corrosion on the board somewhere. It's weird. That sounds like a weird kind of fault. I mean, it could be a battery, but I'm disinclined to think it would be. If you do have the ability to open up the panel, the bottom panel, then you can disconnect your battery and try it without. 43C, oh hell no. Oh, well this thing's crazy. It's actually down at 330 milliamps. I remember seeing 165 boards go quite that low. I see it's back up to 5600 now. Oh, I know why it's so slow. Alright, I must have shut this down at some point. And when it comes back from a bad shutdown, or I don't know exactly what causes that particular behavior, but when it comes back from that, it loads up that recovery system, and that's why it takes forever. And I think I missed the opportunity to press the button to pick the booter, so now I've got to wait for it to just cycle through and find the USB stick. Sorry it's taken so long. Excuse me. It should boot at a reasonable speed this time. Yeah, it looks like it is. I'm still curious to see when the battery charge is going to start up. That could be anything up to 10 minutes away. Yeah, that's more like it. Yep. Be interesting to see if it does see the battery. It did momentarily show the battery there and then disappeared. Might come back yet. What have we got? We've got a 1.8 i5 8 gig. So this is actually a high-end board. Yeah, 1.8 gigahertz, i5, 8 gigs of RAM. Definitely one worth saving. But the question is, why is the battery not showing up? So we go to energy saver. Show battery status. Yeah, it's refusing to show the battery status at this point. Now I'm not sure why. Now I don't know whether I've got a dud battery. Guess we'll find out. Just swap it out for another one. This one, as far as I know, should have been a functional one, but maybe it's died in the meantime for all I know. There's another one. Try this. Okay, battery. It definitely doesn't seem to like batteries. So it means we could have a problem with our ISL or the I2C lines from the battery. That's okay, we'll have a look. Like I said, this is a board worth repairing. It is a high-end board, so it's definitely worth putting the effort into finding out what's going on with it. And funnily enough, I think I can see some tarnishing on the board around that battery connector, around about where the data lines are. Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay, so we did get a bit of junk up there. Okey-doke. Well, a little bit more to fix on it. But at least we know the board works for the most part, so we just got a couple of other little things to sort out. ZX, how dare you? It's not stuffed, it's just needs a bit of TLC. TLC stands for Tendon-Loving Coronavirus. Yeah, I shouldn't really joke about that stuff. Yeah, there's people out there that are genuinely suffering from that. Dying, all the rest of it. Should not make jokes about these things. See what the resistances are for the current sense. What size of hammer were we using? A very teeny tiny one today. It's the Aussie gig. Oh, is that the water damage one? Yeah, sorry. I've been out on the road all day and yesterday, so I have to apologise for not being overly responsive. Let's see, 19. Yeah, that's about right, because that should be a 22 roughly, so that's close enough. And this one here should be at 3, 4, 3. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so they're fine. There is a bit of junk like around here on the ISL, so it wouldn't hurt to just replace that. Just out of an abundance of caution. I'm just going to wonder whether I should replace this connector or not. Pins look fine. There was definitely something under there though. It has a fair bit of a bulge in it, but well, I will flux and boil and then re-tin the pads. See what happens. Pernov, at this point I just simply want to get a replacement regulator for it. And then based on how things change when I change that, I will make the next step. And the other thing I do is got to try and find a donor board for the Lenovo, because the parts I'm looking for I can't really find anywhere. I mean, I can get the regulators from AliExpress. Kind of would rather pick up an entire donor board, but I don't think I'm going to have much luck with that either. Come on, touch the connector. Don't touch the soldering iron, touch the connector. Yeah, that corrosion's really playing havoc. I'm being naughty there. I really should just take the whole connector off and do everything anew. The fact that it's really big and blobby doesn't bother me at this point. Something in the eye. What the hell? Damn you, Australia. There is a bug that we all fear around here. We don't exactly know what it is, but honestly, if it gets in your eye, it just feels like someone has thrown hydrochloric acid in your eye. It is hot, burns, blinds you, you can't see anything, and then you panic because you can't see anything, you stumble over stuff and you cause yourself secondary injuries because you're just going crazy trying to work out whether you're going to spend the rest of your life blind or not. It is a nasty piece of work, this little bug. I mean, it usually ends badly for it as well, because as far as I can tell, most of the time we pull out, after a while, you pull out some sort of black sludge, and I suspect that is the remnants of the bug after your body has smashed it to pieces. But yeah, little acid bugs. They're probably only about 2 or 3 millimeters in size, but holy damn, they hurt. And like I said, it's the panic that they cause, which probably causes more drama. I mean, you're just going about your normal daily business and then wham, you are rolling around on the ground, crawling, trying desperately to reset your systems to remember where the nearest water outlet is, and it's all stuff like that. You go into full mode of, kind of like in Star Trek or something like that, when they lose all their senses and they gotta go to backup systems because they can't tell where they are. Oh, that, or they just got a crappy script and they still can't tell where they are 2 years on. And just floundering around, no purpose, no audience. Oops, I think I kind of let in on an opinion there. Quokkas, the Australian animals give me... Oh yeah, quokkas are awesome little critters. Cute as. Whoops. Wear goggles. Now, the little blighters, those little acid bugs, just get between your goggles and your glasses. And if anything, it probably makes it worse because you're wearing the goggles. Hey, Uncode. Greg M, yes. Carry a saline bottle. And fortunately, the alkaline nature of that should hopefully at least partially neutralize the burning acid sensation. Now we can test this without having to plug it in full. All we got to do is see if it charges. Yeah, that's all we're going to do. Just plug a battery in, see if it starts charging. That's it. Complicated, not required. And of course we'll be able to tell it charges by the power supply. Well, the other way is we plug it in and then we force it on. Not a nix. Okay, let's measure some voltages, see if anything shows up. It's probably the 0 volt side. 1.8 volt, 8. Okay, so we've got proper voltage on the battery pack. 8.3, SMC not fired up. 340, smidge low. Okay, Travis, enjoy the staff meeting. Who doesn't enjoy a staff meeting? Just going to see what the G3 hot is. See if it's doing anything. 857. It says going up, then dropping down. Going up, dropping down. I'm not sure if the ISL is misbehaving or if it's just the battery's a bit low. We'll give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes to sit here and stretch my arms back. Get some sleep that I really am not getting. And I probably won't get any sleep tonight either because, crikey, it's already 20 past midnight. Because I'll be thinking, oh, I worked hard all day and I worked hard yesterday. So I deserve to have some fun time. And I'm probably going to spend too much time looking through Netflix and whatever else, not finding anything to watch, since I've already finished Mandalorian, so yeah. Ever had a huntsman friend end of the workshop? Oh yeah, I mean, had plenty of those. There's, I've got a picture of one uh, one of them that I had for quite a while in the workshop. Now, if you don't like spiders, you are going to want to look away when I show this. Ah, yeah, beautiful. Okay. For you to all truly appreciate the high resolution beauty of this, let's see, let's go to schematic first. Okay, so this is the lovely huntsman girl. It was a female that was in my shed, kept me company for quite a while. Alright, so I took this photo with an old, I think it was about a 4 megapixel camera, and I got up nice and close because there you go. It's that's about the best I can get on a camera at that point. But yeah, they're quite, look at that, they're deliciously, nice and soft and furry. You can just pat them. Okay, and there you go. You can all have a copy of that one. They're not that bad. I think the worst thing about huntsmans are the way they run. They run fast and they don't run like normal spiders. So they give you a bit of the heebie-jeebies. I mean, I'll even still, when they run, particularly if they run over your hand or up your arm or around your neck or something like that, you freak out. It's just natural. Don't don't feel like you're a lesser human being or anything like that because you had a spasm because a huntsman that size ran over you. It happens. YouTube, I've already watched most of what I want to watch. That is, I've already caught up with all of Alex Steele. I've already caught up with all of who's Mr. Spaceman, Fly Safe. Damn it, memory, Paul, memory. His exit line is always "Fly safe." English chapper, I think. Yeah, all the people I follow, I'm already up to date with. Scott Manley, thank you, Andrew Armstrong. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Scott Manley. I also used to have a couple of pythons in the shed. Definitely would have a spotted python. They're perfectly tame. Well, I wouldn't say tame. They're just disinclined to. Yeah, they're no trouble to you. We do get a few carpet pythons around here, but they don't generally stay in the shed. They're always running around in the shrubbery. I think I might change the ISO on this one. Audiobooks, a little bit too much hard work for me because of my hearing issue. Watch Pionov's video on auto repeat. No. ZX, unfortunately Monty wasn't visiting that day, so no. Spider inside earmuffs. That would be a bit terrifying. Okay, we must be up and running. See that's running off battery now, so this must be just really bad on the charge. I'd say my worst encounter with a huntsman is when I used to motorcycle, and I, like most people, would have a full face helmet. Pardon me. And anyway, when you finish riding, you tend to flip your visor up, you take your helmet off, and you put it away. So the next morning, I put the helmet down, tie it all up, get on the motorbike, and just as I'm going off, I flip the visor down, and the huntsman is on the inside of the visor, and of course it's just been flipped down, so it's pretty aggro. and it's just right in my face, like going like this. That was scary. So, but fortunately, at least I wasn't anywhere riding on too fast on the road. So it was an immediate pull over and flip up, and I think the spider went somewhere else. A more comical probably event was during summer. I'd still wear all my full leather gear, and I had a fairly big leather jacket with extended back on it and everything, to protect your kidneys when you're in sports mode, like you're bending over. You want to keep your kidneys warm. But in summer, you like zip it down a fair bit, and it bellows out because all the air getting in there. And one day I was unlucky enough that I must have caught a swarm of paper wasps or something like that. So all these wasps just went straight into my vest, and they stung like anything. Because they were pissed off because they got caught in this trap. And I was on the main road at that point, so I had to pull off to the side, and I'm like stripping off all my clothes, and, getting all these welts building up on me, all because of these damn wasps. It wasn't their fault, but it was still. I mean, you look back and you laugh now, but it was pretty painful back then. What bike did you ride? I had a few. I think my first bike ever was a Suzuki NZ250, which is a bit of an odd bike. Not many people knew of them. It was more of a Japanese import from what I could tell. Let's see. While I'm waiting to see if this charge, we're watching this number up at the top here, this 500. See if it goes anywhere. Although it's going to disappear now because of this. See, schematic. And try and find one that looked like mine. Oh, it's a nice version, the white. Never saw the white version. Nope. Mine never had the front fairing, which I always felt a little bit cheated by. Oh wow, it's getting hard to. Ooh, the Britain. Don't know why the Britain's there, but no, that was a sad story. Excellent motorbike, sad story. It's not British, by the way. It's the Britain. Oh well, anyway, so this is the NZ250. It was nothing too fancy. It was interesting that it had spoked wheels, disc brake, and it had an oil cooling system, which was kind of odd for a simple little 250. And the worst thing about it, which was actually kind of the best thing, I guess, is that it had twin overhead cams with shims under the buckets, under the cams. So that meant if you did have to adjust your tappets, your valve distancing, you pretty much had to take that whole head out. You had to take the cams off, two cams, take the buckets off, then first you had to remember, of course, to make your shim measurements before you took the buckets off, and hope you didn't get them mixed up. Then go get the right shims to put back under the buckets and put it back together. Most of the time you'd put the chain on like one tooth off, so when you start it up it would make this horrible noise. It was good fun. It teaches you a lot. I'm trying to think what my next bike was. It was a VF500, I'm pretty sure. Honda VF500 Interceptor, that was it. Yeah, this was my next bike. It was a nice bike. It gave me like 12.3, 12.5 on the quarter, which I was pretty happy with. But obviously I bought it secondhand. The person before me also seemed to like doing that, and the carbies on it, it's a V4 motor, and it's got 4 carbies. You just could not get them to balance. You'd get one vacuum setting right on the carby, and then the others would drift out. And anyway, it turns out all the linkages and everything were just thrashed, and the whole motor bottom end was thrashed. It was amazing it even ran. But so I traded that in, and what did I get after that? I think it was a Kawasaki GT500, I think. Yeah, Kawasaki GT500. It was a weird bike. It was a good bike. It was an inline four. It did pretty good. It was a shaft drive, so that was nice. Getting away from chain drive was a bit of a pleasure because chains really are a pain. We're still not charging here. I'm thinking I'm going to have to change that ISL. But yeah, it was a pretty ordinary bike. I think after that I went and I got a Yamaha XS850. XS850, and this was a stupid bike for me to get. It was a stupid bike because it weighed probably 3 or 4 times more than I did, and it was way too tall for me. And first thing in the morning, you had to kickstart this bastard of a thing. It's a triple cylinder, chain drive, internal chain drive belt with a shaft. It sounded beautiful on the highway. There's something about a triple that has a really nice sound. But yeah, trying to get it started first thing in the morning to kickstart, it was, half the time I was worried I was going to break my leg or my kneecap would go through my neck or something like that. It did have an electric start, but for whatever reason, even though it would turn over, it wouldn't actually fire. But so yeah, you had to bring the kickstart out, and I think I weighed about 55, 60 kilos maybe. I guess when I put my university books in, that was another 20 kilos, so it put me up to 80 kilos. Yeah, I did alright. But it had plenty of power. It was beautiful on the highway, but it had a mean head wobble. If you were going through a corner and you put the power on, and it got a little light on the front, I think it was a 21-inch front wheel, it would just go crazy wobble and make you wish that you not riding that bike. But and then after that I ended up back with a Suzuki GS500E. GS500 EFE. No, we'll just call it the E. Hey, that's my picture, is it? No. Anyway, that's what I ended up with, which is almost like the first one that I had, but without the spoked wheels. It's pretty much the same sort of design. And that was it. That's when I stopped riding motorbikes after that. It was about 20 years ago now. So, anyway, there you go. A long, boring history of Paul's motorbikes while we waited for the charger to not work. Bugger. Nick Basie had RD250. Oh, you lucky bastard. Always wanted one of those things. That or the RG 250 or the KGV 250. Yeah, those sort of bikes. Everybody wanted one of those sort of bikes. I was never allowed to have one. It's probably a good thing. I probably would have been dead. Why did I stop riding? It's called getting married, being responsible, and that kind of thing. Because there's no denying it is a high risk activity. I mean, basically, we are referred to as mobile donors by the medical community, and with good reason. So now I just look forward to when I can afford another BMW. And when I've got my BMW, I won't wear out the indicator stick anymore because BMW users don't need to use indicators. And if we do, it's only because we actually wanted the windscreen wipers. This could actually be an SMC fault for all I know, but I'm just going to change the ISL first because it's easier. The XJ650 Turbo, that was a nightmare of a bike, wasn't it? I mean, the lag on that thing, didn't that have a notoriously bad lag? I mean, they all did. Okay, to be fair, it was probably not as bad as the CX500 from Honda. That thing, I think, won the lag wars. Did you ever build electronics for motorbikes? I didn't, Peter, A1466, but I did for model aircraft, but not for motorbikes. I guess the alignment of times for when I was involved with motorbikes and when I was doing electronics manufacturing didn't actually cross over. To be honest, Earl, I actually do like full fairing motorbikes, but I could never afford one. So the fact that I've got mostly naked motorbikes is merely a function of the fact that I was too poor to own a fully faired one. My ideal motorbike for a while was the original Honda VFR 750, the one back in the 1990s, like 91, 92. That or the RC30. No one can afford the RC30 anymore. The RC30 is sort of like the original racing Fireblade. I see they did recently re-release the Fireblades, and they look awfully good. You ride an 89 GSXR 1100, now that's a nice bike. Was that the one after they realised that having 16-inch front end was pretty stupid? I can't remember whether that was the 89 or whether that was the 87. But yeah, I do remember the... Oh, that was the GSX, it wasn't the GSXR. Yeah, that's right. I did like the Katana with the shark nose, the flip up headlight. That was always a pretty fancy bike to show off down at the local parking strip on the beach. It was like all modern and fancy. It's like, ooh, space age. That's a really badly installed ISL. That's terrible. I don't even know if that's the right orientation. Oh, okay, you got the 17-inch, alright, so you weren't on the verge of death every time you went riding around. Top left. Oh, okay, it is in the right place. Lucky me. Yeah, the ISL does the charging for the battery, and like I said, it may be the ISL, it may not be the ISL. If the I2C lines to the SMC or the SMC is dodgy, then it could be that. But since the ISL is easier and quicker to replace, we try that first. It could also be a blown line in the board. Well, the TriStar is not actually a charger. The Tigris is the charger. TriStar is the communications chip. So they do work together, but it's not actually a charging chip. Damn it, I had that about right and I pushed it. At least you called it TriStar. I'll give you points for that. It's half expecting someone to say the U2 chip. It's like, oh, sweet Richard. Unless you're talking about the iPhone 5, it's not a U2 chip. But I understand, it's a popular terminology for it. It's understood, and I guess that's what matters at the end of the day. It is understood that when you say U2, you do mean TriStar. Yeah, the chassis on the bikes back then were certainly a lot more like they were made out of pool noodles, especially when you compare them to today. You didn't really feel it too much back then. You just sort of thought, oh yeah, there's a bit of flex in the chassis. But you're right, compared to the ones these days, the old ones feel like pool noodles. I saw a 600 there, but that doesn't mean anything. 700. Okay, I think we might be creeping up now. Oh, come on. 400, 300. What's going on here? It'd be funny if the battery's actually fully charged. Don't do that to me. It could be just that the battery's fully charged. We'll have a look at the PP bus voltage and see what's going on there. No, yeah, we still got that same problem where it dips out, goes 850, which is correct, and then drops down to that. That's not good. So we might actually have an SMC issue. Yeah, this is the SMC one. We'll plug it in, boot it from the stick, see if it shows the battery. If it doesn't, then I'm going to guess that the SMC needs a replacement. I'm allowed to play with my PP bus, I'm qualified. Actually, truth is I'm not, but I have been told by the elders of the internet that I have to pretend that I'm qualified. Else they will take away my YouTube license. So just keep faking it until you make it. And if anybody calls you out and tells you you're doing things wrong, just ban them. And people will support you because they believe you more than they do some rando who knows more than you. It is the way. Ah, right, yeah, thanks for that. The artifacts are being caused by the fact that I had a window hanging over the front of him. It's the thing that Lewis is complaining about with his Linux build as well. Because Linux, with the X system, the way they have optimized the rendering pipeline, it means that anything occluded by a window in front doesn't get rendered. Just, yeah. And so you end up with just gibberish. Ah, damn it. Press the button, press the button. Too late. Hey Crazy J, welcome back. You received your 1D2... Oh, your, like, barcode scanner. Cool. Which one did you get? And Miles, if it blows up in your face, it's just more viewership. Innertech NCT 51. Don't know that one. I guess they make them by the thousands of different types. Mine's a Data Logic one, I think. But they're handy things to have. I've got two of them. One for this workshop, one for upstairs. Hello, Yati Ripon. Please don't spam the channel. When I see gaming in someone's name, I'm assuming they're about to start spamming. Yeah, no battery. Alright. Alright, so we don't see the battery. So it's possibly we've got a bad SMC. Damn. But the trouble is, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so I really should not pursue this any further. And that one definitely dropped out as soon as I cut power. Okay. Alright. We're going to have to leave this field till tomorrow, I'm sorry. We partially got it up and running, but it obviously still has a problem. Tomorrow we'll explore if it is the SMC or whether it's just simply the moron behind the keyboard here who doesn't know how to diagnose these things, but instead just randomly replaces parts, puts on his white lab coat, and pretends he knows what he's doing. That would be me, yes. So I'm out here. You all take care. Thank you very much for sitting around and watching me try to entertain you. Was it MagSafe middle pin alright? I believe it should be, because it was working on other boards I had earlier. Yep, middle pin's fine. Yeah. Anyway, we're out here. You all take care. I'll see you tomorrow perhaps. Catch you later.